On a cold Christmas Eve in a small Nevada town, a lonely 58-year-old biker sat alone in a corner booth. A burger he hadn't touched sat in front of him, already cold. His leather jacket was covered with patches that told a story most people were scared of. Outside, the wind blew hard across the Nevada desert, shaking the diner windows like it wanted to get inside. Inside Pearl's diner, Vincent Reaper Cole sat in the back booth, 58 years old, gray beard reaching down to his chest. Black leather jacket that said Hell's Angels, Nevada chapter. Across from him, an empty seat. 3 years ago, his brother Derek would have been sitting there. 3 years ago, everything was different. The crash, Derek's motorcycle, sliding under a big truck, the funeral filled with 1,000 bikers, and the guilt that never left. Because Vincent had been riding in front that night, the one who was supposed to warn him. 3 years of riding alone, 3 years in a house. It felt empty. The diner bell rang. The door opened, letting in a blast of cold air. A woman walked in with a little girl. The woman looked really tired, maybe 32, wearing a waitress uniform under a thin coat. The girl couldn't have been more than 7 blonde pigtails, pink jacket with a rip in the sleeve. They sat at the counter. The girl swung her legs too short to reach the floor. "What can I get you?" Pearl asked kindly. "Do you have a kids menu?" The woman said quietly, "Sure, honey." Pearl smiled. "Grilled cheese and milk?" The girl nodded excitedly. "And for you? Just water." "I'm fine." Pearl looked at her for a second, then shook her head. "Christmas Eve special. 2 meals for the price of 1. The woman's face turned red. "I can't take free stuff." "It's not free," Pearl replied. "It's a special. Take it or don't." The woman took a deep breath. "Thank you." Vincent watched everything from his booth. The shaking hands. The careful way the mother counted coins before sliding them back into her pocket. The fake smile she gave her daughter, even though her own stomach was probably empty. Then the little girl turned around. She looked straight at Vincent. Most people didn't do that. They looked away. The jacket, the scars, the scary reputation. But this kid didn't look scared. She jumped off her stool and walked toward him. "Sophie." "Get back here," her mother called. Sophie didn't listen. She stopped at Vincent's table and tilted her head. "You look sad," she said plainly. Vincent cleared his throat. "I'm fine." "Kid, you're not eating," she replied. "My mom says when people don't eat, they're sad." Her mother rushed over. "I'm so sorry." "We need to go wait," Vincent heard himself say. The woman froze. "She's right," Vincent said quietly. "I am sad." Sophie reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded paper snowflake made from a napkin. "I made this in the car," she said. "Mom says we should be kind on Christmas. Even to people who look scary." Vincent took the snowflake with hands that suddenly felt too big. "Thank you." "Why are you sad?" Sophie asked. "It's Christmas Eve. Someone I love died," Vincent said. "I miss him." Sophie's face got serious. "My daddy died too." "He was a soldier." Vincent looked up. The mother's eyes were wet with tears. If this part made you feel something, if you've ever felt alone during a holiday, pause for a second and comment, "I'm still here" below. Sometimes knowing someone else understands is enough to keep going. "I'm sorry for your loss," Vincent said quietly. "I'm sorry for yours," the woman replied, her voice barely steady. Vincent looked at the burger he hadn't touched in front of him. "Look, I got way too much food here. You want to sit down?" "We couldn't. Nobody should eat alone on Christmas," he said, stronger than he meant to. Before her mother could stop her, Sophie climbed into the booth across from him. The woman waited, then slowly slid in beside her. "I'm Vincent," he said.
Iris,
the woman replied. "And this is Sophie. Nice to meet you both." As they ate, Sophie filled the silence easily. She talked about school, her teacher, the Christmas play she was supposed to be in. Iris tried to quiet her, embarrassed, but Vincent waved it off. Let her talk. "It's nice. You're really a Hell's Angel?" Sophie asked, eyes wide. "Sophie," Iris gasped. Vincent laughed softly. "Yeah, I am. Are you a bad guy?" Some people think so, Vincent admitted, but I try not to be. I made mistakes, got lost along the way. My teacher says everyone makes mistakes, Sophie said seriously. You just gotta say sorry and try better. Something tightened in Vincent's chest. Your teacher's smart. Do you have kids? Sophie asked. No, never got married. He paused. Just had my brother. Where is he? Vincent looked down. He's gone. Iris spoke softly. How did he die? Motorcycle accident. I was riding in front. Didn't see the truck. His voice dropped. It should have been me. Iris reached across the table and placed her hand over his. Don't say that. Accidents don't work like that, she swallowed. My husband died in Afghanistan. I used to think if I'd asked him not to go, maybe he'd still be here. But guilt lies to you. They sat in silence, sadness passing quietly between strangers. Sophie finished her sandwich and pulled out crayons. Can I draw? Sure, kid. She drew on napkins. A motorcycle with a stick figure riding it. That's you, she said proudly. Vincent looked at it. The stick figure was smiling. I don't smile much anymore. You should, Sophie said, pointing at his eyes. Smile lines mean you used to be happy. You can be happy again. Vincent felt something break open inside. Tell me about your dad, he said gently. Sophie's face lit up. He was really tall and strong. And he made Mom laugh. Iris smiled through tears. He did. Do you miss him? Vincent asked. Every day, Iris whispered. But Sophie needs me, so I keep going. Vincent nodded. Derek used to say the same thing. What do you do for work? Vincent asked. I'm a waitress, Iris said. Night shifts. We were driving to Reno when the car broke down. Where are you staying? Her pause answered before her words did. There's a motel down the road. Vincent knew the lie. I've got a place, he said. Guest room. 10 miles from here? No, absolutely not. Sophie tugged her sleeve. Mom, it's cold. Nobody should sleep in their car on Christmas Eve, Vincent said quietly. Let me help. Iris closed her eyes. ... Okay. If this part reminded you how heavy it is to keep going for someone else, comment still standing below. Someone reading it needs to know they're not alone. They left the diner in Vincent's old pickup truck. The road was quiet, desert stretching forever on both sides. Sophie fell asleep halfway there, her head resting against her mother's arm. Vincent's house sat alone under the stars. 1 story. 3 bedrooms. Too much space for one man. Guest rooms down the hall, Vincent said. Iris nodded, carrying Sophie inside. Vincent heard the door close, then the soft scrape of a chair being dragged in front of it. A quiet barrier. He didn't blame her. Vincent sat alone in the living room, staring at the wall where photos of Derek still hung, smiling, alive. He pulled out his phone and scrolled. Stopped on one name, Cole Wrench Bennett. He hadn't called him in 6 months. He hit dial Reaper. Wrench's voice sounded surprised. That you? Yeah, Vincent breathed out. I met someone tonight. A woman and her kid. They're stuck in town. Silence. Then you, okay? I don't know, Vincent admitted. But the kid reminded me of something Derek used to say. About living instead of just existing. Wrench's voice got softer. He was right. I know, Vincent said. I forgot. Come to the clubhouse tomorrow, Wrench said. Christmas dinner. Whole club. We miss you, brother. Vincent waited. Maybe. Soft knock came at the door. Sophie stood there in pajamas, holding something in her hand. I can't sleep, she whispered. I wanted to give you this. She handed him another paper snowflake. This one had words written in crayon. Don't be sad anymore. Vincent's hands shook as he took it. Thank you, kid. Christmas morning came bright and cold. Vincent woke to the smell of coffee. Iris stood at the stove. Hope you don't mind. Found some eggs. You didn't have to. You let us stay. Sophie ran in. Merry Christmas. They ate together. It felt strange. And good. What about your car? Vincent asked. Garage opens day after tomorrow, Iris said quietly. The part costs about $600. I have 3. After breakfast, Vincent made another call. Wrench, I need a favor. An hour later, motorcycles rolled into the driveway. Iris got nervous. It's okay, Vincent said. They're family. Wrench smiled big. Christmas present from the club. Nobody gets stuck today. Sophie got a wrapped gift, a doll. Her happiness filled the room. Vincent watched his brothers help without asking questions. He'd forgotten what the club truly was. Family. If this part made your chest tighten. If you've ever felt saved by a small act of kindness, kindness matters below. Sometimes one gentle moment is what keeps someone alive. They followed the bikes to the small garage on the edge of town. Wrench bent down under the hood, wiping his hands on a rag. The part's broken, he said, then looked at Vincent. But we got an extra one. How much? Iris asked right away. Nothing, Wrench replied. It's taken care of. I can't. Yes, you can, Vincent said gently. Let them help. Iris sat on the curb, covering her face.
Iris.
Why are you doing this? Vincent looked at Sophie, now on the sidewalk making angels in a thin patch of frost. Because a little girl gave me a paper snowflake and reminded me what Christmas is. And because I've been alone for 3 years, and you showed me I don't have to be. Iris wiped her eyes. Thank you. Before they left town, Vincent asked, come to the clubhouse with us. Christmas dinner. Iris waited. Vincent held out his hand. Trust me. She took it. The clubhouse was loud and warm, decorated with Christmas lights. Bikes lined the parking lot. Inside, families laughed. Kids ran between tables, and someone was already tuning a guitar. The club welcomed Iris and Sophie like they'd always belonged. Sophie disappeared into a group of kids. Iris breathed out for the first time all day. Wrench patted Vincent on the shoulder. You look like the old Reaper. Derek would have liked them, Vincent said quietly. He'd be glad you're back. Wrench replied. Later, Vincent found Iris on the back porch, staring at the stars. You okay? She nodded, then shook her head. I need to tell you something. Her voice shook. Before we met you, I had pills in my purse. I didn't see a way to keep going. Vincent's blood went cold. But then Sophie walked up to you, Iris continued, tears falling, and you looked just as broken as I felt. And I thought, if this man can keep going, maybe I can too. She looked at him. You saved my life. Vincent. He pulled her into a hug, holding on like neither of them wanted to fall apart alone again. If this part hit you, if you or someone you love ever stood at the edge, please comment, choose to stay below. Your words might reach someone who needs them tonight. Inside the clubhouse, someone began to sing Silent Night. One voice became 2, then 10, then the whole room joined in. The noise got softer into something gentle, almost like church. Vincent and Iris stepped back inside. Sophie ran to them, grabbing both their hands.
Allah, come sing with us.
They joined the circle. Bikers, families, children, people who'd lost, and people still holding on. Vincent felt it then. Not the pain of sadness, but the quiet relief of belonging again. When the song ended, Vincent cleared his throat. I want to say something. The room got silent. 3 years ago I lost my brother, Vincent said, and I shut down. I pushed everyone away. His voice shook. But last night, a little girl gave me a paper snowflake and reminded me what matters. He looked at Sophie. Connection. Family. Showing up. I'm sorry I disappeared, he said to his brothers. But I'm back. If you'll have me. Wrench stepped forward and wrapped him in a hug. Brother, you never left. We were just waiting for you to remember. The room burst into cheers later as Iris and Sophie got ready to leave. Vincent walked them to their car. Thank you, Iris said softly. Stay in touch. Vincent asked. I'd like that. Sophie hugged his legs tight. Will I see you again? I hope so, kid. She reached into her pocket one last time and handed him another paper snowflake. One says friends forever. Vincent's eyes blurred as he read it. If this part reminded you that it's never too late to come back to people, to life, to yourself, comment, I'm coming back below. Sometimes saying it out loud is the first step. 2 days later, Vincent called Iris. They talked for 3 hours. About Sophie. About Derek, about sadness, fear, and the strange way life brings people together when you least expect it. The next week, Vincent rode to Reno. He took Sophie to the park, pushed her on the swings until she laughed so hard she couldn't breathe. He had dinner with Iris. Simple food, easy conversation, no pretending. Something started to grow, slowly, carefully. 6 months later, Vincent stood in Iris's apartment, hands shoved deep into his jacket pockets. "I have something for you," he said. He handed her a small box. Inside was a key. "My house," Vincent said. "I want you and Sophie to move in. I want us to be a family. If you'll have me." Iris's eyes filled with tears. "I love you. I love Sophie. I want this. I want us." Sophie ran into the room. "Are we going to live together?" "Yes, baby," Iris said, smiling through tears. Sophie looked up at Vincent. "Does that make you my dad?" Vincent knelt down to her level. "Only if you want me to be." She threw her arms around his neck. "I want you to be my dad." Vincent held her tight, breathing her in, realizing this was the moment his life truly started again. If this part made you believe in second chances and chosen family, in love after loss, comment "second chances" are real below. Your words might remind someone that life isn't over yet. 1 year later, Christmas Eve came back to the Nevada desert. This time, the clubhouse was full. Motorcycles lined the lot, engines still ticking as they cooled. Inside, laughter bounced off the walls. Christmas lights blinking above leather jackets and wrapped gifts. Vincent stood at the front of the room, Iris beside him. Sophie wore a simple white dress, holding a basket of paper snowflakes she'd made herself. Wrench cleared his throat, smiling big. "We're gathered here tonight for something special. No fancy place. No big speeches. Just family." The room got quiet. Vincent took Iris's hands. She smiled at him the way she always did now, steady, sure, unafraid. When they kissed, the clubhouse burst into cheers. Sophie tossed paper snowflakes into the air, laughing as they floated down over the crowd at the party. Sophie tugged Vincent's sleeve. "Daddy," was the first time she'd ever called him that. Vincent's throat closed up. "Yeah, baby? I'm glad I gave you that snowflake." He knelt in front of her, eyes shining. "Me too, kiddo. Me too." Later that night, Vincent stepped outside alone. The desert sky stretched wide above him, stars burning bright. Derek's face came into his mind, his brother's laugh, his voice. "I made it, brother," Vincent whispered. "I found my way back." If this part made you feel hope again, if it reminded you that life can rebuild itself after loss, leave a comment saying "Hope found me." Someone scrolling tonight needs to see that it's possible. Christmas morning came softly, no roaring engines. No sirens, just warmth. Vincent woke to Sophie jumping on the bed, her laughter filling the room. Iris groaned and laughed beside him, pulling the blanket over her head. "Daddy, wake up!" Santa came. "Daddy." The words still felt unreal and perfect in the living room. The paper snowflake hung in a small wooden frame on the wall. The same one Sophie had handed him that night in the diner. "Don't be sad anymore." Vincent stopped in front of it, coffee in hand. 3 years earlier, he had been a man surviving out of habit, breathing but not living. Now the house held noise, love, spilled cereal, mismatched socks, and laughter that echoed down the hallway. Later that evening, the three of them stood outside watching the desert stars. Iris slipped her hand into his. Sophie leaned against his leg. Warm and safe family, not the kind you're born into, the kind you choose, the kind that shows up when everything hurts, the kind that saves you without even trying. Vincent looked up at the sky one last time. "You, Derek," he whispered. "Love didn't die, it just changed form. If this story reached you, if it reminded you that broken people can still build beautiful lives, comment, 'I believe in second chances,' and share this with someone who needs hope tonight."